A chill ran down my spine as I made the connection between this and the guy that had woken me up. I ran straight to the only place I knew could help.
My soul need peace and need space for me. Money on my mind to keep me company.
Los! What's going on, Dat Man Los family? For those who don't know, I am Dat Man Los. Alright, now today is another scary story anime reaction, alright? This called 3 True Homeless Horror Stories, alright? I'm gonna do part 1, a part 2, and a part 3. So make sure you tune in Saturday and Sunday to see part 1, part 2, and part 3. But before we get into reaction, make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on notification, give this video a like, and also leave a comment. Tell me about what part of the video was your favorite part that you like about these scary stories, alright? That's it. 3 True Homeless Horror Stories. Let's go! Horror Shorts Party. True Homeless Story 1.
I don't know if anyone who needs this advice will be able to find this, but I'm going through the trouble of telling this story on the off chance that it will reach the right person. I'm not ashamed to admit that I'm homeless. I'm posting this on a library computer to a website some kid on the street told me about. Anyone out there who's in danger of becoming homeless needs to remember what I'm about to tell them. If you have people you can trust, never leave their side, for their protection and yours. I'm usually the first guy to follow this rule, but a few weeks ago, I forgot it for just one night. I was walking down the streets of northern Las Vegas around evening time. Probably a sketchy situation for most, but I felt pretty comfortable. The bothersome police mostly left this neighborhood.
Why is he the only guy walking at this time of night? He ain't even looking back. He's just walking forward. He's just looking back. You know, I'm pretty sure there's other homeless people out around that time too.
To its own devices. And I had quite a few friends in the area. That's just the kind of guy I am. I can make friends with almost anybody, no matter how down and out any of us get. I just found a bag of half-eaten McDonald's in a trash can, so I was ready to find a place to sit down and eat, then turn in for the night. I dragged my mat of cardboard into an alleyway where I knew a guy named Skeg would be living. I'm sure Skeg wasn't his real name, but most homeless people in Vegas are hiding and in debt to somebody, so we almost never tell our real names. Hey Bert, want some dumpster pizza? It's pretty fresh. Only if I can trade you some.
So these guys got a whole goddamn get together, family sit down, buddy, like take out for dumpster diving food. They just sitting there like, oh, okay, I'm gonna trade you some McDonald's for some pizza. We're gonna trade, we're gonna eat it. Yeah, we're gonna have a good time. Yeah, yeah, ha ha.
Less than fresh hamburgers. You drive a hard bargain, Bert, but I'll have to accept. Sit down, let's divvy. Sure is a nice night. That's just how we were, Skeg and I. It certainly wasn't a nice night. I was just saying that. The sun was setting fast and the bone-chilling nighttime air was blowing in even quicker. But we were in good spirits despite all that. We had food and company, and that was all we needed. Though I think Skeg had found himself a little booze with that pizza, because he was acting a little more freely than usual. I almost hit the jackpot in the casino today, Bert. One little inch away and that $5 would have been 5,000. One of these days, I tell you, Skeg's gonna win it big.
How did a homeless guy in a
What would
casino?
you do with $5,000? You gonna invest it? Bah! All that investment crap is slow money. I'd get one of them blackjack tables and I'd clear it out. Double my money, then double it again. You know, Skeg, if somebody gave me $5, I'd spend it on food. I wouldn't gamble it away. That's how I got in the mess that I'm in. And that, Bird, is why you'll stay in the mess you're in, rotting in poverty, while Skeg is out shooting for the stars.
So you telling me you dissing your buddy? This is why you gonna stay in there? Come on now, you homeless too, yo, you homeless too.
Don't you know the sky's the limit? You can't stay stagnant. I don't need to hear this. Have a good night shooting for the stars, Skeg. I wish I could have just swallowed my pride and stayed there for the night. But in my grandstanding attitude, I made myself walk out into the cold to find a different place to sleep. I didn't
walked the
feel
same
like
direction
walking
a couple
up on
minutes
someone
ago.
in the dark and giving them a fright, so I thought I'd just spend the night alone. I laid down my cardboard mat behind a gas station, pulled on my raggedy old blanket, and started to drift off. That's when I heard something sniffing right in my ear. Half asleep, I brushed it off and rolled over, thinking it was just a stray dog smelling my breath. Then, I don't know what, but something made me throw off my blanket. The cold air woke me up right then, and before I could pry my eyes open, I could tell just from the dead quiet that I'd slept for some time. It must have been 4 a.m., but soon enough my eyes opened and focused in, and there was a hooded man standing right over me. He wasn't moving, just looking down at me with shrouded eyes. He was holding a plastic bag for some reason. I could hear it crinkling in the wind, and it looked like he was hiding something in his sleeve.
What the hell, man? What do you want?
Ew.
What do you want me for? I'm just a bum.
That wacko didn't respond. He just started to lift up his arm, letting his sleeve fall back. Then, sirens started to echo from around the corner. The creep froze, glanced around in every direction, then bolted out of nowhere. I got out of there too, before the cop showed up or he came back. I decided being alone wasn't worth the hassle, so I hustled back to Skeg's alley. When I got there, he was slumped over on his side, facing the wall. By then, I was freezing cold, so I did something I don't normally do. I laid down right next to Skeg and threw my blanket over the both of us so I could capture some of his body heat. Pretty quickly though, I could tell it wasn't working. It was like he was barely giving off any warmth at all. And what was worse, his cardboard mat was wet. At first I thought it might have rained, but then I remembered I lived in Nevada. Skeg? I threw off the blanket again and tried to shake him awake, but he didn't stir. I stood up and rolled him onto his back, revealing the worst.
Skeg! 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 Skeg, man, come on, wake up!
He'd been attacked. His face was caved in by several strikes from a blunt object, and all of the blood he lost onto the mat meant he was surely dead. I stood in horror. A chill ran down my spine as I made the connection between this and the guy that had woken me up. I ran straight to the only place I knew could help, the 24-hour diner 4 blocks away. I told them everything and they called the police. If I'd only stayed with Skeg that night, he'd be alive, and I wouldn't have gotten so close to death myself. Oh well, I guess he got his chance to shoot for the stars and he took it. Just goes to show how important what I said was. Don't ever get caught out alone, because you never know when or where wackos like that creep are lurking. I heard he killed more than one homeless person, just stalking the streets with a hammer and a hood, bludgeoning people to death in their sleep. What's gotten into people these days?
When you first hit it, were you sure it was a dummy? Yes. The problem being is we've had some other people struck in the head in the exact same fashion that you struck this dummy in the head. You're going to go to Clark County. I am? Yeah. Why? Because you make us nervous. You do?
Who's just nervous?
You do.
Alright guys, so that's it for that reaction video. That's it for the part 1 horror story number 1. If you want to see the second horror story, make sure you come back and tune in for the next upload and the next update. That's it. Until next time. Yo man Los, I'm